Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Secretary Pompeo, thank you for your time here this morning. On January 3rd, President Trump ended Qasem Soleimani's brutal reign of terror that killed and maimed countless Americans and coalition forces and threatened many more to come, as we've heard today and many times over. For too long, Tehran has been permitted to act with impunity against U.S. allies, U.S. interests, and personnel. I was proud when the administration acted decisively to restore deterrence in the Middle East, just as I was proud when former President Obama succeeded in his decision to kill Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. This was a defensive move to strike one of the world's most powerful terrorists who was organizing attacks against Americans in Iraq in defiance of UN Security Council Resolution 2231. I applaud the President for making our red lines clear to the Iranian regime. Attacking Americans is never acceptable. And when American lives hang in the balance, Iran will be held to account for its actions. The Middle East is a safer place when the United States is, as you said, clear and consistent in its intentions. Soleimani's successor, Mr. Secretary, as head of the Quds Force, Ismail Qani, was Soleimani's counterpart in countries east of Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and the Central Asian Republic. While Soleimani's headed operations in the West, Mr. Secretary, are you concerned that Qani will seek to expand Iran's malign activities in Afghanistan? And how is the administration mitigating the risk to U.S. interests?
So I can say more about Iranian activity in Afghanistan in a classified setting, but I will say in this forum, they share a long border. There is a history of Iran engaging in activity inside of Afghanistan to act as a spoiler. We've seen just these last 6 days a significant reduction in violence in Afghanistan, and we are watching closely to see if the Islamic Republic of Iran begins to take even more active measures that undermine our efforts at peace and reconciliation in Afghanistan, and just as importantly, put our American soldiers who are on the ground there in both the Kabul area and in the West at risk as well. This guy had this as part of his territory. We are very mindful that that's an area he knows well and might well seek to expand Iranian activity, both through the Quds Force and otherwise.
Well, I'm glad you're on top of it. How did the Soleimani strike change the IRGC's standing in Iran, and have we been able to take advantage of any loss of prestige through information operations in Iran?
Soleimani was a strategic target. There was strategic deterrence that resulted from that strike. He was absolutely a terrorist. He absolutely had American blood on his hands. He absolutely intended to kill more Americans in the immediate future. But he also occupied a position which was very close to the Ayatollah. And there is no one that is going to be capable of replacing that strategic input that he was able to provide to the Ayatollah. And therefore, we believe not only did we achieve the battlefield deterrence that his departure now has led to, but we also have changed the calculus inside of Iran and the understanding, your point about the red line. It is not possible for the Islamic Republic of Iran to have been surprised by the actions President Trump took. We had communicated clearly that the loss of American lives would result in a strike of significance that would impose real costs on Iran. So we exercised deterrence by making sure they understood what America was prepared to do, and then when they took actions that were inconsistent with the things that we had told them, we executed against that.
Very quickly, media reports this week show that the Vice President of Iran, as well as Iran's top health official, have both contracted coronavirus. Are you able to comment on the potential destabilization of Iran? Were there senior political leadership to be deathly ill or even perhaps die? Specifically, does the state have concerns about a void in leadership as it relates to their nuclear program and the Quds Force?
I don't have very much information about beyond what we've seen in the open press reporting. And as I said earlier, we're going to do what we can on the humanitarian side to assist the Iranian people against in building out their systems inside of the country.
I thank you. I thank you for your time. I yield back.